Jerry here with Season 2, Episode number 19 of Ask Jerry Tachoir. Before I forget, I'd like to remind you, if you want to ask me a question, simply go to my website, which is tachoir.com, and that's spelled Tachoir.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a Contacts tab. Simply click on that, fill out the information, ask a question, and we'll possibly do one of these videos. Somewhere around the mid-'80s, as I was developing my career and doing a lot of concerts and clinic performances, it was inevitable that I got a lot of questions, and a lot of the questions seemed to be redundant. So at that time, I decided to put together a company called Master Study Series. I got together with two filmmaker friends of mine. We organized this company. We put out the very first Vibraphone video, and it was available in VHS format. It was very successful, did really well, and seemed to satisfy all the information that I was getting and all the questions that were coming up during my performances. Well, I guess as the VHS format started to fizzle away and DVDs took over, we submitted it and put it out as a DVD. And we also have a second version that we put out, version 2, and it too is available on DVD. And these are still available. Unfortunately, both the VHS and DVD formats are somewhat going away, and I had to do something to get the word out because, again, I'm getting a lot of emails from all over the world basically asking a lot of the similar questions that we had put out prior, and in addition to some other things. So we put out this Ask Jerry Tachoir series, and it's doing really well. And again, I thank everybody for the great comments. It's been fun to do. I promised in the last episode I would try to do these a little bit more frequently, and I have in this one. However, it's not as frequent as I was hoping, simply because my touring schedule and recording schedule has gotten very busy, thank God, and I'm just not able to get to it as quickly as I can. But I'll try to do the best I can. So we got a question today. This question comes from Robert in Ohio. Hello, Jerry. Hope you are well. First, I want to thank you for providing all these educational videos. As I currently live in Ohio, there is nobody I can study with. Your videos have kept me motivated and informed. Now that you have had your extended range vibraphone for several months, has it lived up to your expectations, and are you glad you made the switch to Bergerode? Wish you the best, Robert. Well, Robert, real quickly, absolutely. This instrument has been my dream for 50 years. Granted, I played in the world of F for a long time, F to F, 3-octave vibraphone. And there's a lot of music to be played there. I did really well because nothing else was really available at that time that sounded good. And that was pretty much something that I resigned myself to, that it was going to happen. However, when I did get my dream instrument, which is this Bergerode extended range 3.5 octaves, it has just made my life easy. The things that I wanted to play before, that I would kind of like get down to that F and try to figure out how I needed to go somewhere else, because F is just an uncomfortable note to have at your bottom. So the EDC and its relative sharps and flats have just changed everything and made it so that I can just continually play and develop my ideas without really having to worry about room on the instrument. The C just satisfies everything that I want. And this particular instrument is built so well and sounds so good, and it's by a company that really loves musicians. They really encourage musicians. They're very supportive musicians. They understand our needs. They understand how we want instruments to sound and work, and they take quality and pride in making their instruments. So yes, I am totally satisfied with what I have. I've heard it said by a lot of players, a couple of things, that one, when they play an extended range instrument, they get lost. In other words, they're so used to F being in that bottom note and playing in a refined or a small little space of 3 octaves that they get the extended range, and all of a sudden it just seems like confusing to them, and they get lost on the instrument. I was at a special event at the PASIC show a couple years ago, Performing Arts Society International Convention, and they invited me to play, and they had a 3.5 octave, I believe at that time it was I think it was an Adams instrument, I don't really remember, but it was a 3.5 instrument. It was like, yes, I can play this. This was great, and I had a good time playing the extended range. But I noticed a lot of other players came over to it, and a couple people put a piece of paper on these bottom 3 notes because they didn't want to see those notes because it confused them. I remember somebody actually took a really large book and placed it over there because they didn't want to see those notes. And that's kind of strange to me because this finished instrument down to C is the way it should have been forever. I mean, this just totally makes sense. And for my playing, I have ideas in my head, and the confinement of 3-octave vibraphone in F was always a challenge. Now that I got these extra 3 notes and they're, sharps and flats, it just makes sense. I can play and I can hit. Now, I'm not always playing these low notes, obviously, but when I do have a line develop or an extra bass note that I want to play, they're there and they make it so much more comfortable. And this instrument, again, with this extended range is something that I dreamed about and asked for with other companies for 50 years, and they just never happened. They just had excuses, blah, 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 blah. They couldn't figure out how to tune it. They couldn't prototype it. They couldn't figure it out. They had other issues. It was low on the priority list. I remember the other companies said that, yeah, it's on our back burner, and it's been on the back burner for 35 years. So I don't ever think it's going to happen with them because they just become so status quo, and they just leave it go as it is. But now that I have it, there's like no going back. This is the instrument that's just easy to play, comfortable, relaxed, sounds terrific. And to answer your question, am I satisfied with Bergeralt? Absolutely. Am I digging the fact that I have an extended range instrument? Without any doubt, this is what I wanted to have, again, forever. So real simply, yes, Robert, thank you so much for your question and your comments, and I look forward to answering some more questions soon. So go ahead to my website, everybody, and just fill out the little form and ask me a question, and I look forward to it. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.